Okay, so today we'll start a new unit of the module 3 is a second unit of the module 3, that is a gear trains. So gear trains also carries a 20 marks. This is a completely numerical unit, but sometimes they ask 6 marks theory classify the gear trains. Otherwise, you can get 20 marks as a problem, but most of the time what you see the previous year question for 6 marks or maybe 4 marks or maybe 8 marks is a theory question, classify the gear trends, and remaining 12 marks will be the problem. Okay, so first we need to understand, already you know the gears are used for what purpose of transferring the motion or the power from one shaft, the driving shaft, to the driven shaft. So what is the meaning of gear trains? Gear trains means what? It is a combination of gears. So gear trains, just to read the name here, gear and trains, just as a train having lot of containers, like that coaches we say, like that. So gears is what? It's a combination of gears arranged in a shaft to transfer the power or motion from one shaft to the other shaft. So gear trains so classified into basically four types. If you see here, simple gear train, compound gear train, a reverted gear train, and epicyclic gear train. So we'll go today in the today's class. I will go one by one. What are these type of gear trains? And in the next class we'll take problems. So first go for a gear train, simple gear train. You see the sketches here. What is the meaning of simple gear train? The simple gear train is nothing but what? If you have only one gear on one shaft, so there will not be more than one gear on the shaft. So if you have only one gear, whether it is a driving shaft or it is a driven shaft, such type of combination is called as what? A simple gear train. You see the sketch given here. First one, A, we have two shaft, and on those two shaft two gears are mounted. One is a driver and second one is a follower. So driver rotates in the clockwise direction and the follower rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. Go for the second example. So what you can observe here, we have three shaft and three gears. So larger gear is there, then we have intermediate gear 2, and we have the follower as a gear 3 on shaft 1 2 3, you can say. So if driver rotates clockwise, the intermediate gear rotates anti-clockwise, again the follower last rotates in a clockwise direction. That means if you have odd number of gears, the direction of driver and the follower is in the same direction. Next, go for the example C. We have four gears, means we have four shaft. So driver 1, intermediate gears 2 and 3, and the follower 4. So you can see the driver and the follower rotates in the opposite direction. So if you have even number of gears on simple gear train, so the direction of driver and follower is in the opposite direction. If you have odd number of gears in the simple gear train, then we have a direction of driver as well as a follower is in the same direction. So I hope you understand what is the meaning of simple gear train. Meaning is that we have only one gear is mounted on a shaft, not more than one gear. Okay, now so there is a term called speed ratio. We need to find out the speed ratio. What is the meaning of speed ratio? It is the ratio of velocity or speed of the driver to the speed of the follower. So you can see based on the sketch A, the speed ratio between the gear 1 and gear 2. So N1 is the speed of the gear or driver, N2 is the speed of the gear 2 or the follower, T1 is the number of teeth on gear 1, T2 is the number of teeth on gear 2. Already we have studied the gears and also you know this relation. Okay, there we have used small n1, small n2, or small t and capital T. So here for the first sketch A, the speed ratio, because we have only two gears, is given by what? N1 by N2 equal to T2 by T1. So as you know already, the speed ratio is what? Inversely proportional to the number of teeth or diameters or the radius. Okay, so next For the sketch B, in the sketch B we have three gears. One is an intermediate gear, other one is a driver, and the last one is a follower. So in that case, how to find the speed ratio, that is a velocity or speed of the driver to the speed of the follower. Now you see here, n1 is the speed of the driver, n2 is the speed of the intermediate gear, n3 is the speed of the follower, t1 is the number of teeth on driver, t2 is the number of teeth on intermediate gear, t3 is the number of teeth on a follower. So we'll take case 1 here. In the first case, the gear 1 mesh with the gear 2. That is what gear 1 mesh with the intermediate gear 2. So in that case, what do you write? Gear 1 is a driver, gear 2 is a follower. So n1 by n2 equal to t2 by t1. So next we'll go for what? The meshing of gear 2 and gear 3. We'll see that. So now you see here. So similarly, the intermediate gear 2 will act as a driver and the gear 3 will act as a follower. In that case, how you write the speed ratio? N2 by N3 equal to T3 by T2, inversely proportional. So the speed ratio for the entire setup for the sketch B is obtained by multiplying equation 1 and equation 2. So N1 by N2 and N2 by N3 ratios. So N1 by N2 into N2 by N3 equal to T2 by T1 into T3 by T2. So eliminate T2, T2, N2, N2. So what you're going to get here? Speed ratio N1 by N3 equal to T3 by T1. So in this way, you should able to obtain the speed ratio for a simple gear train. So what is mean of simple gear train? It is nothing but what? There we have only one gear is mounted on a shaft, not more than one gear. Now we'll go for a second classification, compound gear train. So what is the meaning of compound gear train? Now in the simple gear train, what we have only one gear on the one shaft, but in compound, so try to understand the word compound. So what we have here, we can have more than one gear on a shaft. So such combination is called as what? A compound gear train. Now you see in the sketch given, we have four shaft here: shaft A, shaft B, shaft C, and shaft D. Shaft here is having only one gear, that is a driver. Shaft B, you see here, it has two gears, gear 2 and gear 3. So this gear is called as what? A combination compound gear, because we can see here on one shaft we have two gears. Next you see the, what is have 3 meshing with 4 and 5 on the shaft C. Again we have two gears, gear 4 and gear 5. So again this shaft C is what? A compound gear train. Next last one is what? A shaft D. It has only one gear, that is a gear 6. You can say this one as a simple gear train. So what is a compound gear train? In a compound gear train, if we have more than one gear is mounted on the shaft, so that is called as what? A compound gear train. So now for this given sketch, we need to find the speed ratio as we done for a simple gear train. Okay, so now you see here driver 1 meshing with the mesh with what? The gear 2, and gear 2 is on the shaft B, and also it is having a gear 3. So one important note what you need to observe here, the since the gear 2 and gear 3 are mounted on the shaft B, they have same speed. The speed of the gear 2 will be same as the speed of the gear 3, because they are mounted on the same shaft. Similarly, the speed of the gear 4 will be same as the speed of the gear 5, as they are mounted on the same shaft C. Next, at the last, we have the shaft D, that is a gear 6, that is a follower. Now we will see how to determine speed ratio using equations. Now take the first combination. Let n1 be the speed of the driving gear, t1 be the number of teeth on driving gear, and n2, n3 up to n6 speed of the respective gears in rpm, t2, t3 up to t6 number of teeth on respective gears. So in the case 1, gear 1 mesh with what? Gear 2. So then gear 1 is a driver, gear 2 is a follower. So just what you see in the sketch, what you can write, speed ratio n1 by n2 equal to t2 by t1. So you can say equation number 1. Next, gear 3 and gear 4, because gear 3 meshes with the gear 4. So just to see the sketch there, previous sketch. So not 2 is a gear 3 meshing with a gear 4. That means gear 3 is a driver, gear 4 is a follower. So speed ratio is what? N3 by N4 equals to T4 by T3. Give equation number 2. Next, in the shaft C, the gear 5, not gear 4, gear 5 mesh with a gear 6, that is a follower. So then speed ratio to what? N5 by N6 equal to T6 by T5. So equation number 3. Now to get the speed ratio for the entire this compound gear train, so multiply equation 1, 2 and 3, LHS and RHS. So N1 by N2 into N3 by N4 into N5 by N6 equal to T2 by T1 into T4 by T3 into T6 by T5. So in this, what as I already told, important thing is what? N2, N3 get cancels because they are on the same shaft B. So when they are on the same shaft, the speed will be same. So they will get cancels. Similarly, N4, N5 get cancels because the speed N4 is equal to N5 as they have mounted on the same shaft. So then finally got N1 by N6 equal to T2, T4, T6 divided by T1, T3, T5. In this way you should get the speed ratio for a compound gear train. So next we'll go for a third classification of the gear train. So that is called as what? A reverted gear train. So when you say the gear train is a reverted gear train, so just you read this, what it says, when the axis of the driver, that is a first gear, and the last gear, that is a follower, are coaxial, then the gear train is known as a reverted gear train. So that means what? The axis of the first gear is parallel to the axis of the last gear. That means the axis of the driver and the axis of the follower lies on the same line. Okay, so if you see the sketch here, so it says to see the sketch for reverted gear train, you see that gear 1 is mounted on one shaft, is a driver meshing with gear 2 which is on shaft 2, you can say, or shaft B you can say. So shaft B having two gears, gear 2 and gear 3. So then the shaft B can be called as the compound gear train. Then we have a shaft C. So there is a gear 4, that is a follower. Now, so what you can observe, gear 1 mesh with gear 2, then gear 2 is mounted on the same shaft as a gear 3. The gear 3 mesh with the gear 4. So also you can observe one more important note here, the direction of the driver and the follower. So driver gear 1 is rotating in a clockwise, so then it mesh with the gear 2, it will rotate in anti-clockwise. The gear 3 also rotate in anti-clockwise because they are mounted on the same shaft. So gear 3 mesh with the gear 4, so it make it rotate in a clockwise. That means in a reverted gear train, the driver and the follower rotate in the same direction. Okay, so now we will go for equations. Again we'll find the speed ratio as we done for remaining the simple gear train as well as the compound gear train. So let T1 equal to number of teeth on gear 1, N1 equal to speed of the gear 1, that is in RPM. R1 is what? The radius of the gear. Similarly, T2, T3, T4, the number of teeth on respective gear. N2, N3, N4, speed on the respective gears. R2, R3, R4, the radius of the respective gears. Now, you see, as we know, the radius is directly proportional to the number of teeth. Whether it is radius or diameter, already we know the relation. If you have bigger diameter gear, we have more number of teeth. If we have lesser number of teeth, that means the size of the gear will be less. So also we can write the relation here, the center distance between the respective gears. So what you can write, the distance between centers of the shaft of gears 1 and 2 as well as gears 3 and 4 is the same, means equal. You see, just write, understand the equation here. R1 plus R2, that is the radius of gear 1 and radius of the gear 2. R1 plus R2 is equal to what? R3 plus R4. So just try to understand this, because this is very important type of relation we're going to use when you solve the problems. So as we know, the radius is directly proportional to number of teeth, so that equation 1 can be written as what? T1 plus T2. So R1 is proportional to T1, R2 is proportional to T2. So what we can write? T1 plus T2 equals to R3 plus R4. R3 proportional to T3 and R4 proportional to T4. So T3 plus T4. Okay. So this way you can write the relation between the number of teeth between the gears using the distance between the shaft on which the gears are mounted. So coming to last part, finding the speed ratio. Already you know that gear 1 matches the gear 2, so you can write the equation n1 by n2 equal to t2 by t1. Then 3 mesh with 4, you can write n3 by n4 equal to t4 by t3. Multiply that, equation 1 and 2. So what you're going to get the product, n1 by n4 equal to t2 t4 divided by t1 t3. So this way you can find a speed ratio. So what you have to remember in this concept, the direction of the first gear is same as the direction of the follower, that is one. Second thing, the axis of shaft of the gear 1, that is the driver, is coaxial with the shaft axis of the driven. So that means they are on the same line, they are parallel, they are on the same line, or you can say they are coaxial, the axis is the same. Okay. So now we'll go for a fourth gear, type of a compound gear, fourth type of a gear train. So that is the last one, epicyclic gear train. So what is the meaning of epicyclic gear train? So till now we have seen the shafts are mounted on the the gears are mounted on the shaft. Okay. So the axis of the shaft is fixed, and on the shaft the gears are rotating. But in case of epicyclic gear train, what happens? The gears are rotating or revolving over the another gear. So just to see the sketch here, what is shown for a epicyclic gear train. So what we have in this arrangement, we have gear A, we have gear B, and arm C. Okay, so this arm C is connecting gear A and gear B. O1 is the center for gear A along with arm C, and O2 is the center of the gear B. Case 1, there can be two cases here. In the case 1, assume that the arm C is fixed with center O1 and O2. Then what happens? Gear A mesh with gear B, or gear B can mesh with gear A. Okay, so it is what called as a simple gear train. Now coming to the second case, assume that you have made gear A fixed and you left free the arm C and gear B. Listen carefully. In the second case, what you do, the gear A is fixed, the arm C and gear B is free to rotate. So what happens? The gear B rotate upon and around the gear A, upon and around the gear A. So then such type of gear train is called as what? Epicyclic gear train. This is just like our orbit, as our earth is rotating around the sun. So similar to that, the gear B rotate upon and around the gear A. It is called as a epicyclic gear train. So we have again here two types. One is a simple epicyclic gear train. So that means if you have only one gear rotating upon around another gear, it is a simple epicyclic gear train. Next we have compound epicyclic gear train. That means more than one gears are rotating upon and around of another gear. So then it is a compound epicyclic gear train. So again, this also asked in the exam, explain a epicyclic gear train. So these four classification of gear trains are very important. So what I want just to go through these four type of gear trains. So draw the sketch, okay, and try to see how the speed ratio should be obtained. Then in the next week class, we are able to solve the problems. So these four are very important. They're going to ask you maybe 6 or 8 marks theory part. So 12 marks will be the problem. So if you understand these four gears correctly, so it becomes easier when you solve the problem. Okay, so if you have any doubts, just make a ring or message me. So remaining part we'll see in the next class. Okay, thank you.